Okay, all right, I think it's started. Hi, everybody, it's Logan. I think this is week 11? No, I don't know. It's a week, whatever. I'll change the title if it's not the right week. Sharing video. And I don't know specifically really what I wanted to share with you guys today, so I think I'm just going to kind of run through my app a little bit and explain where I've used some of the different functionality that I should say my Teams app that I've implemented into what we're doing here. So without further ado, I think I'll just actually start by showing the app itself. So let me screen share here. Okay, and this is the home screen here. But I'll actually refresh it here for you, kind of show you what happens. In fact, I'm going to go maximize this, and we're still trying to get the formatting on these pages down, but I'm going to go clear out. Well, not necessarily clear out, but rename my app user there. So first off, we created a namespace for our app, and I think I've talked about this before, at least in my team meetings. So everything, all the data that has to do with our app is stored right here under crashapp.app_user. And that has everything to do with the profile, the reports, everything. Again, our app has to do with taking in information from a vehicle accident, recording all the things that happened and who was in the vehicles and all that good stuff. So, so now that I've renamed that, if I go ahead and close this and I refresh, you'll see our splash screen here, and it's loading. We've got our developer names down here. And then it takes you to the register. Oh, and it doesn't say register. It should say register there, but I can fix that. But either way, you'd go in and you'd fill out, all these things, and I'll just go ahead and just because I really don't want this, but I want to create it anyways. Okay, so there that goes. It loads into the home screen and says, "Welcome, John Smith." And we don't have a whole lot of our functionality working yet. In fact, oh, that was interesting that it actually started to kind of work. I'm still trying to figure out these CSS transitions, how to get them to come up when I want them to. I want this to fade out to the left and then load the new content. And it's just, I've tried just about everything I can think of, even nested callbacks and passing arguments. It's really just getting me. But the one thing we do have working here is manage my profile. You click here, it actually loads a template page, but then fills it with your information and everything here. And so if I wanted to say, no, it's Joe Smith, and I click update user, it takes us back to the home page, and you'll notice the welcome message has changed. So we're passing the information, or we're storing the information in the object, and we're calling it out each time we load one of these pages. And thanks to Daniel Lovell for helping me figure out how to do those callbacks and get those to work right, because that's been what made this possible. So come back to manage my profile, and let's say I want to delete this user. I just go ahead and click delete my profile, and it takes us back to the welcome page. Now, for ease of getting this working again, I'm just going to come back in here and rename this back to the name that it's expecting, close and refresh, and it should load with my information here. So again, if we come in here and do Logan A. Mitchell, and update user, and there it goes, hey, welcome Logan A. Mitchell. So we've got some of the other templates for our pages. You can kind of see them here, but they fade away of what we want to happen there. So obviously the history report would be an array of reports that you could choose from, and you could delete if you wanted to delete them. These are going to be, in the mobile format, they should be 4 stacked buttons of equal width. While these buttons should actually, they're supposed to stay horizontal there. So we've got some formatting to do. The profile doesn't look too bad. We've got some forms are always difficult to format, but yeah. So so going back to the code here. Anything in particular interest I wanted to show? It feels like it would make it harder, and it kind of does if you don't have autocomplete, but to get to any of our functions, we have to precede it with the namespace of the app, and then where that function resides. In most of the cases, most of our functions reside in the controller. We do have a couple of views functions. So if I come down here to views, we've got our fade out, fade in. I'm still trying to figure out how to get those working. But these are all controller functions here: get user, create user, update user, load, which is basically just the function that makes the AJAX call and also takes in the callback function, which is returned here, which after the page loads, it actually injects any data that needs to be injected, and that's based off of these scripts down here. So home, you'll notice it. Well, that's not the one, but right here. So it's after the HTML has been injected into the content section of the document, then I go and find the element called first name, and I add in, and I should just call it name or something, but I add in the first and last name. For edit profile, I go through each one of those input fields and I set its value. Well, I set the inner HTML for the driver name. But then the value of all those input fields gets populated with the actual data, so you can edit it and update it if you'd like. And then update takes in all that data, stores it to a temporary app user object, and stringifies it and sets the app user, so it overwrites anything that might have been in app user, and then it says the crash app user is now a parsed version of whatever was in there. So it's a way of both storing it and setting your current object to those values. And this is my model up here. This is the model namespace. So anything that we wanted to be able to create: a vehicle occupant, a driver, which actually extends occupant, so this inherits from occupant all of those properties, and then adds some of its own: vehicle, report, witness, responder. And some of these, in fact several of these, you'll notice vehicle should be under driver. So vehicle is an object that is an array under driver of potentially more than one vehicle. In fact, I had declared a couple of default vehicles for testing here that every driver that gets created would have, but that wouldn't really be practical, so it's just for testing. And then you can have multiple drivers in a report. Number one, the app user is going to be the driver of one vehicle, and then the other drivers, you could have more than one vehicle in an accident, or more than two vehicles in an accident, I suppose. So so this is kind of just how we organized our code in order to make it, while it may seem a little bit more cumbersome to call things, it gives some structure to JavaScript where JavaScript doesn't typically have structure, and almost turns it even into an MVC model here, or MVC pattern, you might say. So so we still have some work to do, but I think we're kind of in the clear as far as we've got the framework set up, and we just have to continue doing the same thing that we've done with these first few pages to the rest of them, and we should have something that functions hopefully by the end of next week. So so that's it for me. Yeah, just hope you enjoyed our app here. Scales a little bit, maybe not perfect. And have a good weekend.